Hey, where'd you go, Claire? Who said you were allowed to leave, huh? I can't believe the disrespect. Not even a proper goodbye.
Well, can you really blame me? You kind of left me no choice. Because of you, I'm completely drenched from head to toe. I need to go home now and dry off so I don't catch a cold. What is your problem with me anyway? I assume you didn't dump a bucket of water over my head for no reason.
You really don't know why? That's what you get for deceiving my son. Sorry to foil your little scheme, but the jig is up. I don't know if it's money or my house you're after, but you're not getting either of it. You may have fooled my son, but not me.
I'm sorry? I have no idea what you're talking about. All I did was show up to your home with Evan so we could get you and Diane's blessing to get married. What makes you think I tricked Evan? Where is this coming from?
Oh, playing dumb, I see. I told you, the jig is up. You lied to Evan about your education. I heard you're a high school dropout.
Excuse me? Where exactly did you hear that?
One of the younger guys from the office told me. When Evan first started dating you, I brought it up at work that my son had a new girlfriend. One of the kids I supervised went to the same high school as you. What a small world, huh? Anyway, he's the one who told me you were a high school dropout. That means you were only able to finish middle school.
A former classmate, you say? Interesting. But why are you accusing me of trying to trick your son?
My family has a long history of high academic achievements, you know. My father, me, Evan, all the men in my family graduated from Ivy League schools. My wife, Diane, and my daughter, Sienna, also graduated from prestigious private schools. But my son, marrying someone who never even made it past high school? This is an outrage! I'll be a laughingstock! Think of what my relatives would say!
Okay?
You're lucky you have a pretty face. I'm sure it worked to your advantage when you were seducing Evan. But I can't be fooled. You're an idiot and an airhead, and my son doesn't deserve a woman like you.
So let me get this straight. Because you didn't like what you assumed about my educational background, you decided you wanted to get rid of me. And you thought the best way to do that was to dump water over my head?
I've dealt with dense dummies like yourself before. It's the easiest way to get the point across. If you ever come back to my house again, it'll be mud I'll be dumping over your head. I will never give you my blessing to marry my son. If you knew your place, you would have never had the gall to show up here.
I see. Fine then, we'll call off the engagement. I won't marry Evan. That way you'll get what you want, right, Hal?
Exactly. I guess you're not as stupid as I thought. Glad you finally came to your senses.
Oh, I've come to my senses all right. I realized that I don't want to marry into a family where I have to deal with someone as childish and barbaric as you. For someone who boasts about their high education, what you're saying is incredibly immature, don't you think? Your insults are so juvenile and repetitive, I feel like I'm talking to an arrogant little kid.
What did you just say to me?
On top of that, you're quite cowardly and sneaky. You kept your mouth shut the whole time Evan and I were talking about wanting to get married. Then Evan stepped out to make a phone call, and Diane went to grab some drinks from the kitchen. It wasn't until we were alone that you decided to show your aggressive side. What's worse, right after you did what you did and got me drenched, you started talking about needing a smoke and got out of there as fast as you possibly could. A blink of the eye and you were gone. You deliberately attacked me, and only when no one else was around to see it. Then you immediately ran away. And now you're texting me to complain instead of talking to me in person when you had the opportunity to do so earlier. You're a spineless, mean-spirited person. It's really kind of sad.
Aha! You finally decided to show your true colors. That's how you tricked my son, too, right? By pretending to be a little goody two-shoes. I'm just glad I could expose you. I don't want my son marrying a scammer.
I was just stating facts about what happened earlier. And besides, you're missing the point entirely. Is it even possible to have a normal, human conversation with you?
Shut up! I don't care what you have to say. I never want you to step foot in my house again. Don't ever think of coming back here, or else!
Understood. I thought we were getting along well. I've been keeping you posted about our lives. I would even call you every now and again. I was just trying to build a good relationship with my boyfriend's father. It's unfortunate how things turned out. Goodbye.
Hal? Hal! Oh, I've been calling you for ages. Pick up already. Where'd you go? And why aren't you answering?
Shut up, Diane! I heard my phone ringing the first dozen times. Why don't you take a hint and knock it off? I'm at my usual bar, raising a glass to myself for a job well done. So let me celebrate in peace.
Huh? You're out drinking? I came back to an empty living room after getting drinks for everyone. The floor was all wet. No sign of Claire or Evan. And you were gone too. Ugh, Evan's been texting me, and he's livid. I've been scrambling trying to deal with this, and you're out drinking? And what do you mean by celebrate? What exactly are you celebrating?
I drove out that wretched scammer that our son's been dating. I saved the whole family from being tricked by her. That'll teach her. Trying to weasel into our family without a decent education? Not on my watch! You should be thanking me, honestly.
So what Evan told me was true? You really splashed a bucket of water on Claire so she would leave?
All I did was wash the filth off of that dirty scammer. She was after my money, I know it. I won't accept someone like her as my son's wife. If I'm going to give my blessing, Evan better bring me someone way more intelligent.
I can't believe what you did! You idiot! Do you have any idea how much I was looking forward to Claire and Evan getting married? All the effort I put in to make sure that it happened. 3 years of hard work, all down the drain!
Wait, huh? What in the world are you talking about?
Claire had concerns about marriage and wasn't too enthusiastic about it. Me, Evan, and even Sienna worked so hard to make sure Claire felt welcome and supported by our family. But you ruined everything! You are the absolute worst!
Hey, calm down for a second, would you? What's the big deal? What's your obsession with that high school dropout anyway? There's plenty of other women for Evan, ones that are much better than her. Evan deserves better than that airhead.
What? Have you lost your mind? High school dropout? You didn't say that to her, did you? Oh, God forbid.
Yeah, I did. So what? What's wrong with stating the fact that she only has a middle school education?
It's wrong because it's not true, you buffoon! Oh, no. I can't believe this is happening. Not only did you insult Claire, but you assaulted her too? Oh, this is terrible.
I still don't see what the big deal is. Why do you care so much about that woman?
Because Sienna and I are huge fans of hers.
Excuse me? Fans? Of Claire?
Claire graduated from a performing arts high school, one of the most prestigious ones in the country. It's practically impossible to get into. She's one of the most talented and famous stars on Broadway.
What? Broadway?
I have no idea where you heard such an unfounded rumor. But Claire never dropped out of high school. She just took a transfer exam and auditioned during her sophomore year. She left her old school when she got accepted. Do you have absolutely no common sense?
What? How was I supposed to know? That's ridiculous! Who could possibly guess that?
And not only that, she went on to the top performing arts conservatory in the country. She's a college graduate, you idiot! She skyrocketed to stardom as soon as she started getting parts on Broadway shows. She's an exceptional singer and a very gifted actor. Sienna and I both admire her so much.
I can't believe this nonsense!
She's even won awards for her performances. Anyway, Claire is our all-time favorite performer. We've been going to her shows to see her on stage for a while now. When Evan first introduced her to me as his girlfriend, I was absolutely ecstatic. It was a dream come true, a blessing. I felt like the luckiest woman alive.
Whoa! Hold on just a second there. You mean to tell me she's a theater performer? On Broadway? You've got to be kidding me! That woman?
That woman? Bite your tongue. Never speak of her like that again. So disrespectful.
Okay.
Since Evan started dating her, I've been trying to make sure everything went well in their relationship. Without being too intrusive, of course. I've been trying to make sure that we stay on good terms. Oh, I was so nervous because I wanted her to like me. She had reservations about getting married, because of her career. So I told her that I would help her out with anything she needed and support her in absolutely any way. I tried not to come across as being too pushy and handled everything with exceptional care. And at last, Claire and Evan were engaged. But then, you decided to act like a complete imbecile and ruin everything!
Well, how was I supposed to know? It's not my fault the kid who works for me didn't have his facts straight. I was just looking out for my family. I couldn't allow an incompetent woman to marry my son. It's only natural for a father to...
Looking out for your family? Don't give me that bull. Even if you don't like your son's fiancé, that's absolutely no reason to dump water over her head. And then for you to go on and berate her? Who does that? What kind of father are you? Where did you leave your common sense and conscience? In your mother's womb?
Well, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done that, but...
The only places you ever spend your time are at work and at the bars. You've neglected this family for years. And now you want to act like a family man all of a sudden? Ha! Don't make me laugh. All you've done is cause trouble. Our wedding anniversary, our children's birthdays. You were never home to spend time with us. You always preferred to hang out with your mistress.
Whoa. You know about that? But how?
You really thought you were doing a good job hiding it? I know you've been picking up hussies at bars for the last 20 years. After neglecting us all this time, spending your money on those other women, how dare you jeopardize our precious son's relationship?
But those things aren't even related!
Shut it, you nincompoop! I don't care that you went to an Ivy League school. I don't care how much money you make. I have no respect for someone who behaves this way. It's unacceptable. I've had enough. We're through. I'm divorcing you.
To what?
Even though you hardly ever came home. Even though I knew you were fooling around with other women. I always looked the other way. I put up with it because I thought staying together was the best choice I could make for the sake of our children. But I've reached my limit. What little feelings I had left for you, they're gone too. We are getting a divorce, and that's final.
No, this can't be happening. Oh, hold on just a minute. Are we really getting a divorce over something like this? You're joking, right?
This incident was just the last straw. Divorce has been on my mind for a while now. There's nothing you can do to change my mind. We're done.
No, please, think this through. If my relatives find out about it, what will they say? Come on. You have to think about the position that puts me in.
I don't care one bit. My future daughter-in-law is way more important. Don't come back home today. Actually, don't come back at all. I never want you to step foot in my house again.
Don't step foot in your house? You can't do that. That's my house.
What are you talking about? This property was a wedding gift from my father, remember? The house, the land, they're all in my name. You really forgot about that?
Huh? Oh.
Once I fill out the divorce papers, I'll send them to your parents' house. I'll have my lawyer contact you with the details. In the meantime, don't try to reach me. Just so you know, your mother is a Broadway aficionado too. Sienna and I started inviting her when we would go to shows, and now she's hooked.
Wait, come on, Diane! You can't do this to me! Hey! Hey you! You better come back to the house this instant! Are you even getting these? Hey!
What do you mean, come back? Didn't you just tell me to never step foot in your house again?
Forget what I said! Just come back already! Talk some sense into Diane, would you? She locked me out of the house!
Yes, I'm aware. Diane told me everything. And no, I'm not going back. I never want to see your face again, ever.
Just come back, okay? It'll be a lot easier to talk to her with you there. I need her to reconsider the divorce. Now that I know all that stuff about your education was a misunderstanding, everything's good. We can start fresh.
Everything's good? That's rich. You really think everything's good after dumping water over my head and insulting me? I haven't even gotten an apology from you yet.
What?
What did you think, that I wouldn't be upset after everything you did to me? You ruined my clothes that I bought especially for the occasion. The water destroyed my favorite watch. And not to mention all the remarks you made about me. Do you really think I wouldn't be furious? Well, evidently I guess you did. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the audacity to ask me to convince your wife to not divorce you without even giving me a proper apology. I shouldn't be surprised. It must be nice having such thick skin.
Well, alright, fine. It was wrong of me to do what I did, okay? I was wrong to assume you only had a middle school education. I was wrong to dump water on you. So come back already and help me situate things with Diane.
Yes, you were wrong. And? All you're doing is stating facts over and over, but I still haven't heard an apology. But I do have to agree with your statements. You were wrong, and this is all your fault. So?
So what? You know, you get what I'm trying to say, don't you?
It's not that hard to say the words, "I'm sorry." It actually requires very little effort. Even now, you prioritize your pathetic pride over showing some decency. If you can't even apologize over text, that's fine with me. But I won't get involved until I receive a proper apology. Goodbye then.
What? Wait! Come on, Claire!
After that, Hal tried to change Diane's mind about getting the divorce any way he possibly could. But suffice to say, things didn't work out in his favor. Diane rejected Hal and ignored him completely. She kept telling him if he wanted to discuss anything, he could discuss it with her lawyer. He reached out to his kids for help, but they wanted nothing to do with him. They told him they never wanted to see him again. Hal's mother found out what he did, and she was so livid that she disowned him. He was disavowed by his relatives too. Worse than being a laughingstock, if you ask me. A month later, Hal and Diane's divorce was finalized. I sued Hal for damages and got a small settlement, just enough to cover the cost of my new outfit he ruined, and my favorite watch he broke. Hal lives on his own in an apartment now, but he doesn't know how to take care of himself properly, so I heard his place is practically a pigsty. He's become a complete wreck. He yelled at my former classmate who told him about my education and told him it was all his fault. My former classmate just assumed I dropped out because he stopped seeing me at school when I transferred. Hal lashed out at others at work too who had nothing to do with the incident. Someone reported him to his supervisor and he got demoted as a result. I can understand why people value education, but they shouldn't lose sight of other important things because of it. As for me, I received many deep-felt apologies from Evan and Diane. They even said they wouldn't blame me if I couldn't forgive them, and that they would understand if I wanted to break off the engagement. But it wasn't their fault, so I told them they had nothing to apologize for. Evan and I stayed engaged, and a year later we got married. Thanks to them, I still get to give my best performance on stage every day. So much happened to get me where I am now, but I'm so grateful to have such an amazing husband and incredibly supportive in-laws.
Rick, you there? We need to talk. Are you still at work? Anyways, I left the divorce papers on the table, so can you file them with the courthouse tomorrow? That would be such a big help. I'm going to head back to my hometown, but I'm not moving back in with my parents. Now that you know about the divorce papers, I don't ever intend on coming back here. I don't plan on telling you where I'm going. It's also helped a lot that you've been so busy at work. It's given me a chance to pack my things at a slower pace without you noticing. I guess this is it. Have a nice life.
Excuse me, what is with all these messages? Hey, Poppy, you there? I just got back home to find these divorce papers. What is the meaning of this? We've only been married for 3 months, so why are there divorce papers in front of me? This is insane. What made you come to this conclusion?
Oh, would you look at that? You're done with work now, I see. You finished earlier than I expected.
Poppy, this isn't funny. Where are you right now?
I told you before in those messages that I'm not telling you.
I don't get it. What's the reason for you wanting to divorce me?
Because our personalities don't match, Rick.
What do you mean they don't match?
After being married for 3 months and then living together, I started to notice our differences a lot. I thought maybe we were wrong for each other. That was what I was thinking.
But isn't it important for couples to discuss such matters first? Before any hasty conclusions? There's maybe some things that we can compromise on, Poppy.
No, there isn't. Then I came to the conclusion that the only way I'll be happy is if we get a divorce.
Is that so? There's nothing you want to try and compromise on?
Nope, nothing at all.
Well, for the reason that you've given me, it's funny that you think I'd be easily convinced to divorce you like that.
I'm sorry, what do you mean by that?
Nothing. I figured this all out anyways. I guess I'll just hold on to these divorce papers then.
Oh, okay. Please file the divorce papers by the end of the day.
Why before the end of the day?
Because from tomorrow, I'll be living with my new boyfriend. I'm almost into my 30s, and I want to have a baby as soon as possible given my age and physical strength.
Alright, so you have a boyfriend already?
Oh, what's up? Why so shocked to hear that? Don't take what I say too seriously. It's just a joke.
Look, Poppy, I don't really care what you say. But thank you for letting me know about your cheating scandal. It saves me the trouble of looking into what you've been doing.
Huh? What does that mean? But I told you I just meant it as a joke. I'm bailing on this conversation. I can see you're getting wound up over it. What is this thing about me paying alimony to you? This must be some sort of sick joke. I was just joking, and now you're trying to find out things about me? Are you for real? I was relieved that I hadn't had a peep out of you in for over 2 weeks, and now this?
Poppy, what are you talking about? Is it okay to say now that I sent a content certificated piece of mail and its arrival at the house you're living with Joe? I'm sure you also got an envelope with photo evidence inside of your affair delivered to you too, right?
I don't care about that. How do you know about where Joe lives?
I tracked down any mutual friends that we have, and they knew of his address, and they told me when I told them what was going on.
This photo is... When did you take so many photos of me?
Those photos? How can you not remember taking the embarrassing photos of yourself cheating on me?
Excuse me?
About a month ago, you changed your phone model, didn't you? And you didn't realize that you left your old phone on the side of the table when you left the house one day?
Really, I don't remember that.
But for some reason, it was still left to be charged and it had no lock on it. Right after you left and before I messaged you, I looked at the divorce papers on the table. And I thought then and there that my suspicions were confirmed to be true.
Oh, oops. I completely forgot about that other phone. I said what I needed to say at the time, so it saved you the trouble of collecting evidence.
And your point is?
My point is this. It's such a cowardly thing to go out of your way to open up about your feelings over the past 2 weeks, to try and get alimony out of me.
I didn't intend to blurt it all out. But since I had consulted with a lawyer and made the right preparations, it took a couple of weeks to organize.
It doesn't change the fact that I was taken by surprise.
I don't think someone who willfully cheated on me should be able to comment that sort of thing. You should have expected that to happen. To make you see how sinful your actions have been, let's look into your lover, shall we?
Look into him? Now wait just a minute.
Your lover is Joe Tillins. He was in the same year as you in middle school and high school. When you were in your second year of high school, you started dating him. However, you discovered that Joe was cheating on you with another woman and you broke up after 1 month of being together.
Can you stop with all this crap, please?
After that whole debacle, you both graduated high school and went your separate ways. 2 months before we got married, you went to your middle school reunion and happened to meet up with Joe again there. At that same reunion, you and him hit it off like old times and really got excited to be around each other. So you skipped out on the reunion and went to the hotel instead.
I get it, all right. Would you please just stop it? I know what your heart's truly seeking. You want your alimony. You must know that Joe is quite rich and your aim is to take that away from him.
That's not it, Poppy. It's got nothing to do with him being rich. I'm just exercising my legitimate rights with being cheated on by my wife.
Yeah, whatever you say, Rick. It doesn't matter how you think about it. Anything you think about is fine by me. I guess I can't help it if you found out these things. I'll ask Joe to pay my share of the alimony so it won't hurt my conscience at all. It's actually cheap if you think about it being an offering of cutting you off from me.
Is that so, Poppy? Well, let me get back to you about this. Just pay me the amount I billed you by the date I stated without any delays.
Yes, Rick, I'll do that. I think that I can marry Millionaire Joe, and it's only a few $1,000s, so it won't be a big expense for me to pay you.
Oh, okay. It seems that Joe has been excluded from his family inheritance because he's not blood related to his wealthy father.
Wait, what? Rick? Rick, what you said earlier about Joe, it was true. Joe's mother had an affair, and he was the consequence of that. Because of his mother's dirty deeds, he's been excluded from his father's will and the family inheritance. His parents got a divorce when he was 19. The only reason why he didn't change his name was because his parents got married and ended up having the same last name. That's why he's still known by that name.
That sounds about right to me.
So, did you know about all of this? You knew when you messaged me the other day.
Well, I did do that quick investigation through his friends, so they had a lot to say. What would you have me do if I were to tell you that?
I would have gone back on my plans.
What's that supposed to mean?
I won't have to pay the alimony if we work this whole thing out. I want to start all over again with you, Rick. If we're with each other, it would be a win-win for both of us, right?
How is there a win-win in this for both of us?
What do you mean by that, Rick?
The fact that you had an affair isn't going to disappear from my mind. So even if you decide to change your mind about all of this, you still need to pay me the alimony. You've caused so much grief, and I would never forgive you for cheating in the first place. Naturally, I'm not even going to consider unraveling this whole mess. Starting over with you again, Poppy, would seem like a punishment to me for taking back someone who had an affair. Once a cheater, always a cheater.
Rick, we were a great couple up until 2 weeks ago. How can you give up on your love for me so easily?
It's not about that, Poppy. Are you really saying that considering you're the one who cheated on your husband?
But we had a beautiful wedding ceremony. Surely you remember that amazing day.
But what was the purpose of that ceremony if this was going to happen? Anyway, I have no plan to get back together with you. It's not happening. Please just give me my alimony before the deadline so I don't have to take you to court. I've had enough.
Don't say those things, Rick. Please, you've got to give me another chance. I have no way of paying the alimony, so can you think about getting back together? Because if we do that, we can go right back to the way things were, right?
I have no idea what you're saying. As I said earlier, it doesn't matter if you've changed your mind about me or not. You still owe me my alimony. There's no way you can get away with saying that you can't pay because you've run out of cash.
About that. So my parents are really angry at me for what I did, and they're so angry at the fact that I tried to move back in with them. I got into a fight with Joe, and he told me to move out of his apartment by tomorrow. All I have left now is you, Rick. Please.
I hate really vague conversations, Poppy. I'm not getting into this with you. No matter what you say, you still need to pay me the alimony no matter what. I'm not letting you get away with anything.
But, Rick, don't be like this.
I'm not replying to you anymore. Sort out your own problems and pay me my alimony.
Rick, answer me! I tried to come back home to you. I see there's no nameplate on the mailbox, and the key doesn't fit in the front door either. You seriously didn't move out of this house, did you? You didn't move out without saying a word, did you? Rick, are you going to reply to me? Didn't I tell you that I only have you to rely on? If you moved without telling me, then we won't be able to get back together. Rick, don't ignore my calls and messages. Answer me. You've got to be kidding me right now, Rick. I went to see if you were at your parents' house, and my father was there. He put me in the car and is taking me somewhere. I bet so much right now that you're at your parents' house right now. No? I came here because I couldn't think of what else to do since you weren't in our house. Why is this happening? Why won't you help me out? If you've gone back to your parents' house, you know that you'll not be able to see me anymore. Are you fine with that, Rick? Rick, answer me! I'm so sorry! Don't leave me on my own. Why do you have nothing to say to me? You've not even read a single one of my messages. I want to be with you.
I was able to see that Poppy went over to my old house and that she would go to my parents' house next. When I asked my ex-father-in-law to come and collect her, he was like, boom, we got her. At a later date, Joe decided to wire me the alimony. I thought that he would be too naive to do this, but I heard that he borrowed money from his ex-father on the condition that he would be permanently exiled from the hometown. Poppy, on the other hand, I asked her why she's complaining about paying alimony. Surprisingly, I discovered that she had a large amount of debt. So she ended up having to carry debt and alimony on her shoulders. The total amount was said to be about $600,000. She works multiple jobs to help pay her dues while her parents manage her salary. It seems that she's living a hard life, both mentally and physically.